It's always difficult when you're videoing yourself and also doing the talk. Yes. But anyway, we can do it. Just an update of where we are in terms of the project. Bob is currently finishing off stage 4 this week, and so I'm hopeful in the next few, certainly in the next 2 weeks, I'll be sending out an email to everybody to say that that is then live. Basically, what's so significant about this stage is that really it is at the stage where, in fact, the microsite project is then a standalone application. In other words, you can do the entire job of processing the DBS using the microsite without using anything else. Me personally, centrally, I am currently using 3 spreadsheets and the microsite to actually do the job. And when stage 4 goes live, I go 1 microsite. It will instantly make me about 70% more efficient overnight. So I cannot wait. So, and essentially what it will do, for those that you're not aware, it will allow you to send the email directly to the applicant from within the microsite using the information there, so you don't have to put it in twice or do a separate email. It'll allow you to do reminders as well automatically with just 1 click. And it will also, once you historically put all your people on, you'll be able to, it will actually give you the next number in your sequence. So you set up your first number, and then from there on out you don't have to worry about what is my next number, because it will look after that for you. So it's really, really significant in terms of the project. And this really prepares the way for stages 5 to 7. Now this sounds a bit like I don't know what it sounds like, but all these stages I know confuses people. But effectively, 5 to 7, all that does is just make the work less and less and less. The first stage is to link APCS, so that that the communication between APCS and the microsite will be linked. And the great thing about that is that you won't have to copy the verifier link or pass it on to somebody. It will be already straight in the microsite. And the status of that, including all the way down the line, there's about 20 statuses if you ever go on the APCS website and log in. Those will be in real time translated to the microsite, and then when the certificate comes through, it will be written directly to the microsite, so you don't actually have to do that at all. So at the end, essentially, once you've actually sent the applicant the initial email, you're pretty much done in terms of the work, because all the rest of it is just a few clicks and pushing it through, and then the whole thing is finished. So it'll be a huge time saver. And crucially, absolutely bulletproof in terms of audit as well, which is the great thing. Now, I've been running various training sessions, and we've done 4 double sessions already, trained 109 people, and I've got 2 more at Rawton and Trowbridge to do, one a week today and one on the 3rd of December, and we've got another 38 booked onto that. So I will have covered 147 by the time we finish, which is, I'm quite happy with that actually. That's about 50%, and but this is really only the start, and I think I haven't discussed this fully with Heather yet, but certainly I think the DBS training will probably integrate some of this into that, so that it becomes a book in the same way as I've done. On that, if you haven't been able to get to the training and you would like one of the books, I've got a stack of them out there. If you can just put your, or if you're taking it for somebody else, you can just put the name on, because when I get to the end of the Trowbridge training, I intend to post out to everybody else at least the book. Now I've done some of those already by post, but just to save money and save postage, if you know somebody that could use it and just write their name on the front, then I'll make sure I'm not sending it to them twice. The other thing I've got outside is some of the C1 books, because if you're intending to do training in the next, say, sort of well, in 3 months. We've got stock of those, so they're still usable. And so rather than waste them, I've brought some so you can take some of those away as well. And finally, reference the website. There was a change recently, a couple of changes. One which allows us to very simply take phone bookings for people booking onto courses, for those that are not online. And the other thing is that the structure's changed slightly, so some of the sub-pages have disappeared. And I only noticed that recently. So I will be doing a bit of redesign work with the idea of making the actual safeguarding page a little bit less cluttered and a little bit easier to navigate. Because I want to really bring in areas which are focused for you, so that an area for verifiers, an area for safeguarding officers, so that actually everything you need is in one place, in one page, without having to dig deeper. I particularly came across this when I was looking at safer recruitment, because I was horrified to discover we'd actually uploaded it, the material, in 2 separate places. So if you did a search, you came a list which was just bonkers, pages and pages of stuff. So I've actually tidied that up, but in fact that page has disappeared, so I shall bring that back in. But again, really the idea of making sure that you've got everything you need. You can just click straight in, it's all there, and you don't have to do lots of searching around, which has been the problem up to now. But I'm on that as time allows, as you can imagine. I'm a bit stressed on time, but anyway, that's what I intend to do. So if anyone's got any questions, happy to take them.
Adrian, on the microsite, I've been doing a bit of looking at it lately. It gives you the date when they had their certificate last done, but it doesn't talk about courses. Is there any way you're going to be able to say, oh, you need to do a course, or without having to look at every single name in the list?
Yes, that is really a stage 8 part of the project, because you can see what courses they've done. It's not a complete list for a number of reasons. Firstly, the online courses that are done with the Central Church are not currently imported into that data. So we've got the historical C0s, of which there are about 900, the historical C1s, which I think are about 500, and then of course a lot of C1 training initially, but particularly before I started, wasn't really recorded in any religious way, shall we say. So there are gaps. I'm trying to fill those, and of course when you're going through your people, if you find there's training that's missing, you know that somebody did training such and such, then I can put that on. But the idea is once we get to stage 8, that's something that you'll be able to control. And in the same way as the current system manages DBS, it will manage compliance and training as well. Because one of the things that I'm very conscious of in phone calls I get 2 people that are confused as to what training they need to do next, big one, and also people are a bit anxious, have I done enough training, and sometimes they're doing more than they need. And in fact, just recently I've been sending out a lot of emails to people saying, actually you don't need to do this for another year, and they're quite relieved, because I'm aware, you've got life to lead, you do not need to do more training than you need to. So it's getting the balance right, and I think once we get that level of understanding of our people, we will be able to improve the way we deliver training, and hopefully de-stress it as much as possible. Good question.
Adrian, it's really about the website. I've not been on the Microsoft course yet. That's Cambridge.
Oh right, excellent. Yeah.
And it's sort of training related. I was a bit disturbed to find that the National Church sent out this amendment to the Parish Safeguarding Handbook. Now, that amendment refers to pages 16 and 17. And when I go on the national website, there is the Parish Safeguarding Handbook in its very fine posh form, dated October 2018, but it's been changed from the one I was given. They've amended the pages. When I look, it doesn't have C0 or C1, it just has the new defined courses.
Yes.
So they've amended the document without reissuing it. When I go onto your website, and indeed what I downloaded, and indeed what this church has, I find the original, if you like, online version 2, October 18, Parish Safeguarding Handbook. It's got all the nice links on.
Yeah.
In that document, these training pages are not pages 16 and 17, they're pages 18 and 19. Now, all right, it's not a big issue in one sense, but it does trouble me that if we are now trying to properly document what we're doing, we need to have some control of this. And the National are wrong to suddenly say, oh, well, here it is. They've amended it, but not sent a new version.
Yeah.
I think we need to get a grip, and your Diocese website is now different to the National one, so could you have a look at that?
Yeah. I mean, there's a number of issues with this. Firstly, a lot of the stuff that National Church bring out, I don't think is terribly great, I have to say. I was horrified when someone pointed out to me that actually they didn't mention any of the previous training, they just mentioned the new training. Just like they've just introduced safeguarding training for the first time. No understanding of where this migrates from, which I thought was just staggering. When I read it, I thought, really? And anyway, so I think I did send out, I've asked Michael Ford on the Grapevine to make sure that we put a grid in so that it just simply explains, what's becoming what and what's being, C3 and C5 have been retired. So it makes it clear what it is. But yeah, I mean, I'm conscious of the fact I'm struggling sometimes to keep up with what needs to do on the website, and I'm trying out to fit time. But I'm not helped, I must admit, by some of the slightly overword. I mean, what I find, what I don't like particularly, there's a lot of central research stuff, is that it's so wordy. It's almost like they want us to use 1,000 words when 10 will do. And really, if they were thinking about the people that are actually receiving this information, rather than just, making these elaborately large books, I think it would be very helpful. But yeah, I am aware I wasn't aware of the page numbering, so thank you for that. But I am aware that some of these things are not quite as they should be.
So
I've gone to the whole trouble of telling the PCC we've updated our policy, we've adopted the Bishop's policy, I showed the diagrammatically how that related to the handbook and all the templates, and issued it to everybody, hard copy as well as online. And then this came out.
Yeah.
But just looking at your updating your Diocese website, I remember 3 years ago, almost when I took this job over, I was totally blown out by all these documents on there. Do we need to have a lot of these historic documents that
No.
2006, 2014? Because a new PSR comes in, goes on the website, well, what is all this? Sure, the current policy that the Archbishop have done, Parish Safeguarding is sufficient. At least, if it's historic stuff, it may have some relevance, but that part somewhere else or taken away.
I'm 100% with you. Less is more. Absolutely. I mean, we need to do a cull. I need to spend a lot of time on the website doing a lot of housekeeping, and I'm aware of that because, to be honest, when I first saw what was there, I thought, well, if you've got enough time to go through this lot, you haven't got a life apart from anything else. It is just horrendous. So it does need severe culling. And I also wanted to make sure that it was grouped according to the person, the audience, so that you don't have to go troweling through lots of things and spending hours sort of working, have I missed that? And then finding an out-of-date version of something which is also on. I mean, it's all those sort of things which are, I'm conscious are not where they should be. But yeah, thanks for saying that. We will get there. We will get there.